discuss the aforementioned things. Shoot, Rod, shoot.
Okay, we'll start off with the topic. Something that came through from the community football board about a couple of months ago, and so this big paper came out, and so I started reading it one night. And something that caught my eye was they're talking about the AFL Facility Development. Now, it says the AFL has allocated $1.5 million from its AFL Facility Development Reserve Fund grants to SA for the next 5 years. Now, this is where they made their first mistake. They've got it in brackets there, $350,000 per year. Now, when I went to school, that actually equates to only $300,000 a year. So I did a little bit of looking at it, a little bit more looking into it, and I sort of posed
You'd think they'd get that right, wouldn't you?
Yeah, you think you'd get that right in your actual handout to all your clubs. Yeah. So I sort of sat down, had a look at it, and I'd like to pose a question to the top men of the AFL, Mr. Andy D and his little 4-foot afternoon shadow, angry Adrian Anderson, about how concerned and serious they are about grassroots football. The AFL has allocated $1.5 million from its Facility Development Reserve Grants Fund for the next 5 years, which is $300,000 a year. The grants are based on a $1 for $10 basis, so basically for every $10 you spend, they'll give you one in a development grant. So,
in other words, you build $1 million facility, they give you $100,000.
Yeah. Yeah, which really isn't a lot, because a lot of clubs don't have that money to begin with to do those types of things. Now, I then had a further look into it. There are 260 senior clubs in South Australia spread across 25 leagues. That equates, if you just gave every club a cash handout out of that money, would be $1,153 per club each year. Why don't they just write a cheque, upfront cheque to each club for $5,700, which would cover the next 5 years? That'd go a long way to helping clubs survive, even with just their basics. I look at it with all the money being spent north of the Murray on clubs like the Great Waste of Space and the Great Catastrophe, and 2 rugby league players who will not be in this competition within 2 years' time.
I just worked at that's GWS and Gold Coast.
Very good.
So yeah,
you get a cookie.
Yeah, thank you.
Wouldn't it be better investing that money into the heartland of football, which is south of the Murray, not north of the Murray? We're just pouring all these millions of dollars north of the Murray, and yet we have clubs in country Victoria, country South Australia, amateur leagues, suburban leagues, Western Australia, Tasmania. Clubs that are struggling to survive is where the kids are actually coming from, and we're not actually helping those clubs. This is just like tokenism, I believe. And if we don't look after the grassroots of the game, these kids are going to have nowhere to play. So I'm sorry, Andy and Andrew, you're not doing your jobs properly. This is just tokenism. If you're really serious about grassroots football, get out there and help the clubs. Just don't say, here's $300,000 for the whole of the state per year.
What do we get from the community football board?
Very little, in my opinion. Very little at all.
I mean, they help fund towards Sediment Oval to the lights down there, but I believe they got big funding for from the AFL towards from BHP, which means that 300 and something odd grand, and then as soon as they got that, they employed a couple of extra staff. So I just wonder where the footy's going. I thought I read in some literature that 50,000 went to grassroots footy out of 375. You'd have to question that.
I just don't think the AFL actually do enough for grassroots football. I remember Andrew Dimitro's comments several years ago when he said, grassroots football is fine, everything's going along nicely. I seriously doubt whether he actually knows what's going on in grassroots football. I seriously doubt a lot of the AFL actually do.
Yeah.
They're just more, it's the corporate box, it's the corporates, and that's about as far as it goes.
Now tell me, what's this about Broadview today?
Broadview Day, Past Players Day. Twice a year we have a Past Players Day, and on one of those days we set aside for premiership reunions. Now today we have 4 premiership reunions, the 1972 C grade, 82 and 92 D grade sides, and 92 B grade sides. So there's expecting quite a few players to turn up today. The Past Players Committee in the new pavilion that we have outside the front of the club will be setting up there for the day with their can bar and food, and encouraging all past players to come down and support us as we try and keep our finals chances alive, and at the same time try and ruin one of our great rivals for the last 20 years in Goodwood Saints, trying to stop them from getting into the finals.
Yeah, well, I think Gaze would be happy with that if you beat them today. Mm.
Yes.
So would Ross Trevor.
Yeah, they've got a hard one today. So, yeah, I think in terms of players, are they all involved in the club regularly, or these guys, or?
We have a past players. Our past players list is over 300 strong. We actually have a special membership for those who just want to contribute to the club. Then normally they don't buy a membership for the club, but by buying a past players membership, it sort of contributes to the past players fund, who then go and take care of little projects around the club. This is where it comes back to what I was saying about grassroots football. It's being left up to a small group of guys to raise funds, where we try and put new facilities in for our kitchen, new facilities in our bar, or just trying to upgrade change rooms. And these guys work incredibly hard during the year. There's a group of about 6 of them, and they go on a trip every year where they raise funds for the club, travelling around the outback of South Australia, selling memorabilia or whatever, and raising funds that way. It's hard, but days like today where we try and get as many players from the past together. As you can see by the advert we placed in the last week's Sunday Mail, gaining attention. It's a way of reaching out to players that we normally wouldn't be in contact with, who sort of gone their way over the years, and a chance for them all to come back today. And speaking to a couple of them, they're looking forward today, catching up with a few of their old ex-teammates.
Yeah, and a few sherbets and frothies. I think the boys knocked back.
Yeah, and hopefully some of them will carry on with the karaoke tonight.
Yeah, I have no doubt a few of them will carry on tonight either way. But big night, big day for you. There should be a big crowd there, actually.
We're hoping for a big crowd. Games against Goodwood are always close fought affairs. We've got a great rivalry going back with, as I said, over the last 20 years. They don't like seeing us in grand finals because we've knocked them off twice in grand finals when they were favourites. So
they'll probably remind you that we won 5 in a row. So
yeah, and we'll remind them that we stopped them from getting 6.
yeah, exactly. That's great.
How did you stop them from getting 6? Oh no,
Yeah, beat them.
We beat them in the first time.
Oh, okay.
Then they won 5 after that, so we stopped them from getting 6.
So after they won 5 in a row, we beat them in round 18. And speaking of that great year of 2010, which sucked, at Broadview that year there was a little lady who came and stole all the tins and bottles. She's still floating around?
You've caught me at a loss there. I don't know what you're talking about there.
She took her wheelie bin. She lives locally. She's of Asian descent, not that that's relevant. And she took her wheelie bin and she was taking everyone's cans and tins. If you put it down, she took it, emptied it, and she was there.
Must have been up your end of the field.
Yeah, no, well actually I was down the other end. But always a great crowd at Broadview, and I'm sure there'll be no exception today. And we'll talk more about that with the great Phil Harrison, who will be here for Division 1.
Not a problem. Thank you very much.